3 times negative 1 is a positive 3. And the two numbers add together, it's a negative 4. And put negative 3, negative 1. Negative 3 add negative 1, it's a negative 4. So then put negative 3 here, put negative 1 here, and put x, put the parentheses. So this, you can check it. X times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is a negative 1x. Add with a negative 3x is equal negative 4x. Negative 3 times negative 1 is a positive 3. As this is a solve for equation equals 0. So we use a 0 factor property. What is the 0 factor property? Is if a times b equals 0, if and only if a equals 0 or b equals 0. If the two numbers timed together equals 0, then must first number equals 0, a equals 0, or b equals 0, or both are 0. Then timed together, must one of it equals 0, or both are 0, times together will be 0. So either the two factor equals 0, then must either this factor, first factor, equal 0, or the second factor, x minus 1 equals 0. Must be both equals 0, or one of it equals 0. Timed together will be 0. And then add a 3 both sides and get x equals 3. Or add a 1 both sides, get x equals 1. So that's the solution, which is you 3 plug in, figure out, plug in x, figure out will be equal 0. 1 plug in is equal 0. Put in x, check it is 0. So that is 2a. Then 2b, example. 2b example. Its question is 15x squared minus 7x equal 2. 15x squared minus 7x equal 2. So such kind question equal 0, equal 2. That's equation. So we have to put them in the standard form. What is the standard form of quadratic equation? Standard form of quadratic equation, degree is 2, we call quadratic. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. All the term on left side equal right side has to be 0. This we call standard form of quadratic equation. And the a cannot be 0. A cannot be 0 because if a equals 0, there's no more x squared term. It's not called quadratic. It's not quadratic equation. So leading coefficient, a cannot be 0. So like this one, first of all, we have to put them in the standard form, which is all the term, 3 term on the left side of equal sign. The right side need to be 0. So you can do move this 2 to the left, change the sign, use subtraction property, minus 2 both sides. So we got minus 2, minus 2. So we got 15x squared minus 7x minus 2 equals 0. The quick way is move 2 over to the left, change the sign, change to minus 2. Then factor it. Now you can use trial method, try it. 15 we can factor as 1 times 15 or 3 times 5. Negative 2 we can factor as 1 times negative 2 or negative 1 times positive 2. Now we are going to match 1 times 15 match with 1 times negative 2, or 1 times 15 match with negative 1 times 2, or 3 times 5 match with 1 times negative 2, or 3 times 5 match with negative 2 times negative 1 times 2. Now, normally we try the two number closer each other first, because normally that's going to be the answer. So like try 3, 5. Put 3 times 5 on the first column. Then you can try 1 times negative 2 or negative 1 times 2. Like this. If I try like this, then you cross times it. You will get 3 times 2 is 6. Negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. And you add together is a positive 1. But external coefficient is a negative 7. So that's not we want. Not. So we try other one. So like 3 times 5. You want negative 7. So look like we put a 2 here and you will get 10. And put negative 1 here. And 2 times negative 1, if cross times it. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Add together is a positive 7. But here's negative 7. External coefficient is negative 7. So we can switch the sign. 2 become negative. 1 become positive. And times it. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. 3 times positive 1 is a positive 3. Add together is negative 7. It is negative 7. So this is the right one. Then attach with x, because x squared. 3 times 5 is 15. X squared separate x. Then put the parentheses. So factor as 3x minus 2 times 5x plus 1 equal to 0. 3x minus 2 times 5x plus 1 equal to 0. And then each factor equal to 0. So either first factor use the we call zero factor property. A times B equals 0. If and only if A equals 0 or B equals 0. So there's a 2 factor equals 0 times together equals 0. Then either first factor 3x minus 2 equals 0, or second factor 5x plus 1 equals 0. And then the first one, you add to both sides, get 3x equal 2, then divided by 3, both sides, cancel 3. So you got x equals 2 over 3. Or the second one, you minus 1 both sides, got 5x equal negative 1, then divided by 5, both sides, 5 cancel. So get x equals negative 1 over 5. So between them, it's or. It's 2 solutions. Degree is 2, have 2 solutions. That's question 2b. 2b. So then we go question 2c. 2c. Number 2c example. Here it's 40 minus 10t squared equals 0. So I change the problem example like this example. Now 10t minus 4t squared equals 0. So solve this. First of all, this 2 terms have a common factor we factor out. Here 10 and 4. Common factor is 2. 2 factor out. So 10t divided by 2, it's a 5t. Minus, still minus. 4t squared divided by 2, get 2t squared equal 0. Greatest common factor. Here still have t. So t need to factor out. Common factor t factor out. Get 2t, 5t divided by t, remain 5. Minus 2t squared, factor out t, get 2t equals 0. So you can directly from this step to this step. 2t factor out. 10t divided by 2t is 5. Times is 10t squared. Minus, still minus. 4t squared divided by 2t. 4 divided by 2 is 2. T squared divided by t. Cancel t, get t. So its factor become this. And then use zero factor property. Either t equals 0 or 5 minus 2t equals 0. So t equals 0, already the answer. The other one, you can add 2t, add 2t. The quick way is move 2t to the other side, change the sign. So you will get is 5 equals, that's 0, equal to t. Then you divide it by 2, cancel 2. So you got t equal 5 over 2. So your answer will be t equals 0 or t equal to 5 over 2. That's 2C. This one, 2C. Now, and 2D. 2D. Example. Number 2D. Example. I use 4t squared minus 25 as example. 4t squared equal 25 as example. So we can do another way. Instead of factoring, we can do another way. We do divided by 4. Divided by 4, you got is 4 cancel. So you got t squared equals 25 over 4. 25 over 4, you can put as 25 is a 5 square. 4 is a 2 square. 2 square. Then you can put t squared equals 5. This 2 out. Become 5 over 2. Put outside the parentheses. 5 over 2 square. Because this is 5 over 2 times 5 over 2 is 5 times 5 is 5 square. 2 square, 5 square, 2 square. Equal. They are equal. So then you say t. What is t? T will be 5 over 2. Positive one. T should be equal 5 over 2. But there's another one, which is negative. Negative 5 over 2. Because if t is negative 5 over 2, you square it, is still equal the right side. 25 over 4 become positive. So there's 2 solution. 2 answer. 2 solution. So that's the D. Then E. 2E. Let me get some paper. Uh, 2E. Example. Example, I use this one. Your homework question is minus, so I change example, change to plus. Example is x times x plus 1 equal 20. That's example here. So solve for the x. So this we need to distribute it in, multiply out. Get x squared plus x equal 20. Then we need to put into the standard form of a quadratic equation, which is standard form quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Put it in descending order, 2, 1, 0. All the three terms on left side. The right side has to be 0. That's a standard form of a quadratic equation. So we have to put this term to the left side, minus 20 both sides, or move to the left. Change the sign. Press is positive 20, move to the left, change to minus 20. Equal, right side is 0. And factor this. Factor this. Here, x squared, you can put x. Negative 20, you need to find two numbers times together equal negative 20. So it will be 5 and the negative 4. Times together equal positive 5 and the negative 4. Times together equal negative 20. The two numbers add together. 5 add the negative 4 is a positive 1. Here's a positive 1. So that's equal. The two are equivalent. You can check it. X times x, x squared. Negative 4x, positive 5x combined is a positive x. Last term product is a negative 20. Then use zero factor property. Zero factor property here. This one. Zero factor property. If the two factor a times b equals 0, if and only if either a equals 0 or b equals 0, that's what we call zero factor property. So either first factor x plus 5 equals 0 or second factor x minus 4 equals 0. Must be one of it equals 0 or both equals 0. Then times together equals 0. If both non-zero, then times together will not be equal 0. So must be one of it equals 0 or both equals 0. So that's minus 5 both sides, or move over, change the sign, x equal negative 5. Or move 4 over, change the sign, or add 4 both sides. So that's the solution. That's 2e. Then 2f. Example, this question, it's this is the question, so I change example. This one is the example. The example is here. 5x squared plus 5 equal 10x. So first of all, we have to put in the standard form of the quadratic equation, that one. Standard form of quadratic equation. All the three terms on left side equal, right side is 0. Put in descending order. So we put 5x squared first. Move 10x over, or minus 10x both sides. Minus 10x. Plus 5 equal, right side is 0. Standard form of quadratic equation. Then you can factor out the common factor, which is 5. Or you can do is divided by 5, both sides. Or you can factor out the 5. Get x squared minus 10 divided by 5 is 2x plus 5 divided by 5 is 1 equal 0. Then divided by 5, both sides. Then this 5 cancel. We got x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 0. And factor this. you can use formula to factor it, completing square formula. Or you can do first of all, 2 factor equals 0, x squared factor as x times x. Then 1 factor as 1 times 1. And since it's negative 2, so use negative 1 times negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1. Negative 1 add negative 1 is add together is a negative 2. You need to find 2 numbers tied together equal constant term. And the 2 numbers add together, equal to x term coefficient. So you got x minus 1 times x minus 1. That is the same factor, so we put x minus 1 quantity squared equals 0. And then 1 to be 0, that means the x minus 1 need to be 0. Then add 1 both sides. So solution is x equal 1. Actually, it's 2 solution, but the 2 solution, 1, 1, 1, it's the same number. Degree is 2. Quadratic degree is 2, has 2 solution, and can be same number. Solution are equal, same number. It's still 2 solution, but here is repeated. We call multiplicity. Multiplicity 2. Multiplicity 2 is the same number. Repeated. Then question 3 is a word problem. Word problem, we have to first of all set up the quadratic equation, and then we find out the solutions. Like this question 3, example, here say, the square of a number, so we assume x is the number, and the square, so is x square, is, the square of the number is x square, is, your homework is 12, so I change to 6 as example. 6 more than the number, is 6 more than the number, and find the number. So x squared is equal sign, 6 is 6, more than change to plus sign. The number we assume is x. So we found the sentence, transfer to the algebraic equation. It's going to be x squared equals 6 plus x. Then we solve for the x. Solve for x quadratic equation, we need to change to the standard form. Standard form of the quadratic equation. All the 3 terms on left side equal, right side should be 0. Put them in descending order. That's the standard form of quadratic equation. So I have to minus x, or quick way, move over, change the sign. Minus 6, quick way, move over to the left, change the sign. So we'll get x squared minus x minus 6 equal minus 6 minus x. They cancel, so right side is 0. Then factor it. So leading coefficient is 1, so you can put x equal to 0. You just factor this negative 6 constant term. You need 2 numbers tied together equal negative 6. Like 3 times 2, and then you put 1 is negative, 1 is positive, tied together is negative 6. And the 2 numbers add together, negative 3 added 2 is the x term coefficient, negative 1. So that's correct. You can check it. X times x is x squared. 2x, outer term product, inner term product, negative 3x, add together is negative x. Last term product, negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Then use 0 factor property. which is the 2 factor a times b equals 0 if and only if either a equals 0 or b equals 0. That's 0 factor property. So the 2 factor tying together equals 0, then either x minus 3 equals 0 or x plus 2 equals 0. Then use addition property or subtraction property as 3 both sides, get x equals 3, or x equal minus 2 both sides equal -2. And since a word problem, you have to answer in words. And before you answer it, you can check is the answer is correct or not. So you check it, the check, like 3 square, a number square. The question say, the square of the number is 6 more than the number is 3. So 3 squared is 9, is equal 6, add the number is 9. That's checked. And the -2 also, the square a number, -2 squared is 4, is that equal to 6 more than the number? 6, add the number. That is 6 add -4, also 4. It's equal, it's checked. So then answer the 2 numbers. The numbers are 3 or -2. The numbers are 3 or -2. Question 4, word problem again. The length of a rectangle. So we draw a rectangle. Number 4. Example. Rectangle. This longer side we call length. Shorter side we call width. This side we call length. Shorter side we call width. The length, width we use W represent. Width use W represent. The length of rectangle, your homework is 6 meter more than the width. So I change 3 meter more than width. So the length is 3 meter more than the width. 3 plus W, or you can put W plus 3. They are equal. They are equal. And that is if we assume the width is W, the length is 3 meter more than the width. So the length is 3 plus width, or width plus 3. The area inside the rectangle. The area formula is length times width, or width times length, either way. Width times length is the area. The area is equal to, your homework is 40 square meter. I changed to 70 square meter. Find the length and the width. So you tie together. Width times the length is the area. The area is 70 square meter. 70 square meter. So solve it. We got the equation and solve it. So first of all, put in the standard form. So we have to multiply in distributive property, multiply in, get W squared plus 3W equals 70. Then move 70 over, change the sign, or minus 70 both sides. So we got W squared plus 3W minus 70 equal 0. Then factor it. Factor become 2 factors. Here's W, so W times W is W squared. -70, we can factor as 2 times 35 or 10 times 7. So you can put 10 times 7. Since it's negative, so must be 1 positive, 1 negative. So here is positive 3. So put positive 10 -7 because the add together is a +3. Tying together is -7, is a -70. So that's equals 0. That's factored. Then use zero factor property. Either the first factor, w plus 10 equals 0, or second factor, w minus 7 equals 0. Then either solve for w. So either w equal -10 minus 10 both sides, add 7 both sides, or w equals 7. And since w is the width of a rectangle, negative number, how many meter? It's impossible the width is a negative number, so -10 is not it's invalid. It's not the answer. So +7 meter is for the width. And questions say find out the width and the length. The length is 3 meter more than the width. It's 3 plus w, or w plus 3. So we figure out w plus 3. So it's 7 plus 3 is 10. And then you can check it. Check. The area is 70. The width is 7. The length is 10. Tying together, it's 70 meters, square meter. It's checked. So then you put the final answer. Question asks you what is the length and the width. So you say answer, the length is 10 meter, width is 7 meter. And this is the end of today's lecture. Thank you.